Hey, welcome to our second secret subscriber donator podcast.
Hey everybody, how you doing? So sorry for it to be having been so long since we've had one of these for you, but we promised them once a month, and we don't say when during the month.
This is true.
So
well, we were getting used to our new equipment. We had to get all that together before we could really do anything. So thanks to you, now we have equipment.
yeah, thanks to you all.
with.
We really appreciate your support. I know I tell many of you that via email, but now that I have each of you here kind of individually, let me tell you that your support means a lot to us. It helps us do a lot with the show. It helps us get the equipment we need to do the show in a timely fashion. And, it really just makes doing the show a lot better for us. We spend a lot less time on the drudgery aspects of the show and a lot more time on kind of the fun parts, the production, and trying to think about what we're going to do with the show. And I think for us it was a make or break thing, and you helped us make it rather than break it.
Yeah, so we can't thank you enough. It's been incredible.
We do really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So if any of you have sent us email and we haven't gotten back to you yet, we will. We've just been really busy lately. It's been a crazy week here.
Yeah.
We were out of town for a couple days, and I began a huge tattoo. Jenna got a little tattoo, and it was nice to go out of town, but as soon as we came back, like, all the shit that we left behind was still waiting for us. So we took off, but there was everything still waiting, and it was like, oh man, whatever. So anyway, yeah. And we adopted a dog from the shelter, and she's been cool. She's been really cool.
Yeah.
So
we're going to talk about that in a regular podcast, so we won't talk about it too much here, but...
No, but we've just been trying to make sure that the family stays relatively sane,
Yeah.
It's been hard for our other dog, Mole. Not hard. At first, it was a little hard for him to adjust, but it's only been a couple days, and they seem fine.
Yeah, they're getting along really well.
They get along really well. And our cat, on the other hand, it's hard to get him out of the basement, but...
He came up today on his own, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, it was a good sign.
So, wake up!
I don't know. I'm tired. So anyway, we just thought we would talk to you about a couple of things this time around that we aren't going to cover on a regular podcast.
Yeah. So we want to talk about a little bit about our trip to Ithaca.
Yep.
Ithaca's a cool town. I like it.
I do too. For a town of its size, it's okay. It frustrated me when I lived there, but I think that had more to do with the shitty apartments we lived in.
Yeah. The rental situation is absolutely hard. The landlords are just so cruel.
Oh, I don't know.
They're just scumlords.
Yeah, there are a lot of slumlords and scumbags.
Yeah.
There are a lot of them, but we had a couple good landlords there.
That's true.
It was just one landlord we had that was a real shitbag.
Yeah.
He was a fucker.
Yeah. The bathroom ceiling caved in one day.
Yeah, but with water.
A leak in the roof.
Yeah.
And he refused to fix it.
I had to call the city.
Yep.
And I had to get the city to threaten him with action in order for him to come fix it. So it was absurd. And he fixed the roof, but he never fixed the hole in our bathroom ceiling, which is brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, Ithaca's a good place. It's got this reputation for being kind of a hippie, liberal left place. Mm-hmm. And there's a good bit of that. But I think every time I go back, it seems less and less radical than before.
Yeah. But in a way, it's also fun to go back because where we are, it's not necessarily conservative, but people are pretty middle of the road.
Oh yeah,
there are a lot of Democrats with their union because of the union. I think unions.
That's true.
Jobs.
We live in a Democratic county.
Yeah,
but there are a lot of Republicans.
There are a lot of Republicans around us, and you don't see too much overt political things.
No, you really don't.
But you go there, and there's anti-Bush graffiti,
yeah, fuck Bush
and
everywhere,
signs, and it's really nice to see.
Yeah, I saw this best graffiti when we were there. It's a graffiti. Oh, how subversive!
Yeah,
it was really funny. So we were in Ithaca recently, having a good time. There aren't. I guess what I really wanted to talk about was this issue of vegetarian and vegan restaurants, and Ithaca doesn't really have any explicitly vegan restaurants.
Yeah, which is strange because it has the whole feel of like a tiny Portland kind of place, or supposedly a cool liberal place, and there aren't even any vegetarian restaurants. Maybe one cafe, the ABC Cafe, which we haven't been to in years because the last time we were there was pretty bad.
Their food usually is pretty bad, and it's real hippie-ish too.
Yeah, and it's very vegetarian-oriented, not vegan.
Yeah, and but the Moosewood restaurant is there, which some of you may know about. They have that series of cookbooks and all of that. Mm-hmm. And every time we're there, we go to the Moosewood usually for lunch because it's one of the places that we can get something to eat. But
yeah, you can get something to eat there, and it doesn't make you feel sick the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's true. So we can go to the Moosewood, and I don't know. I mean, the truth of the matter is that the Moosewood is an explicitly vegetarian restaurant. Like, they advertise themselves that way, right? Mm-hmm. But there's less for us to eat at the Moosewood than there is at restaurants that aren't explicitly vegetarian.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that they're stuck in the 70s mold of what a vegetarian restaurant, they think a vegetarian restaurant has to be.
Absolutely.
And so they serve fish
They do.
at every meal.
And they have fish at every meal, which is really baffling because fish does not grow on trees.
No.
In fact, that's one of our in the index entries in our book. If you have our book, you should look under "fish is not a vegetable." I put that in as an index entry because it was annoying. But no, fish is not a vegetable, right? We all know this. Fish are animals.
Yeah.
So I'm always baffled by the fact that they have fish there, number one. Number two, they have, whenever you go in, they always have all these vegetarian entrees, but the entrees are usually cheese covered or have feta on them or have egg in them or some kind of crap like that. And they usually outnumber the vegan entree. You know, there are usually 3 or 4 vegetarian things that have ovo-lacto things and then one kind of vegan-y thing or one thing that could be veganized.
Right.
And I think that's kind of pathetic for a restaurant that prides itself as a vegetarian restaurant.
It is ridiculous.
And I think serving fish is just beyond the pale. It's like, if you're a vegetarian restaurant, be a vegetarian restaurant. If you're a pescatarian restaurant, then
stop advertising yourself as a vegetarian restaurant.
Exactly. Like, why eat fish and then claim you're a vegetarian? It's ridiculous, and it helps.
Frustrating.
It is frustrating, and it helps to keep that idea that vegetarians eat fish going.
I know. And then what they claim, supposedly the reason for this is that, well, a lot of families go there and there might be some people that, aren't vegetarian, but then they want to have something to eat. I'm like, well, would it kill them to eat a meal without meat for one meal?
Everybody can eat a vegetarian meal here and there.
Yeah.
Big deal.
They're trying to cater to the meat eaters that are going to go there, but why? It's ridiculous. I don't know.
It is ridiculous. And you know what? The rest of the goddamn world caters to the meat eaters.
Exactly.
Every other restaurant everywhere else caters to meat eaters. And why not have a restaurant that is truly vegan or vegetarian?
Yeah, there's all kinds of steakhouses and barbecue places in Ithaca, too. If they really want to meat, they can go to one of those.
A buttload of them.
Yes.
And there's one even that's called John Thomas.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Yeah, Carol Adams even uses
their
ads
ad,
in her books because they're that bad.
Yeah. I think they have an ad with a little knife on it, like a steak knife. It says, "Scaring vegetarians since 1980, whatever."
Yeah.
Oh, please. We're not afraid of you. We feel bad for you. We feel bad for you being caught in this like ridiculous meat eating way that you are going. So I don't know. There's all that, and it's really frustrating because, like Jenna said, it's this 1970s version of what vegetarian is, I think. And I think it all goes back to this like Francis Moore Lappé version of like, Diet for a Small Planet kind of stuff, where you're supposed to combine proteins and think about, what you eat and plan it all out. And I think we have Francis Moore Lappé to thank for all this, do you get enough protein bullshit? Because I think she helped contribute to that myth with her book, Diet for a Small Planet. Yeah,
the whole combining protein stuff and all that. Yeah.
Combining different proteins and like, I don't know, all that crap. And students still ask me about this, and because their parents say to them, well, don't you have to combine proteins to be a healthy vegetarian? And I always say to them, no, of course not.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just really silly. And what I found kind of funny was we went to a couple other restaurants there. We went to a Thai restaurant that was incredibly good.
It was really good.
We went to a Korean restaurant, and we went to this other cafe, which we found we hadn't eaten at in a long time. It's called the Lost Dog Cafe. None of those are specifically vegetarian restaurants. The wait staff there knew more about the food that was vegan in the restaurant than the waiter did at the Moosewood. That's true. We had the waiter at the Moosewood was this one tomato soup vegan. He's like, I'm not sure. I have to go back in the kitchen and check. And he had to ask. And with this other thing, we were like, can we get this without the feta? And he had to go back and check to make sure it was vegan otherwise. Like, he had no clue what of the menu items were vegan. When we go to the Thai restaurant, the Thai place, I asked, is there fish sauce in what I had just ordered? They're like, oh, no. And they said, in the vegetarian versions of all the food, we never use fish sauce. And if it says oyster sauce, it's oyster mushroom sauce. It's not oyster sauce. That's cool. And he I didn't even have to ask him. He told us all this. And the only thing you have to watch out for is egg, he said. And even at the Korean restaurant, they said to us, are you guys vegan? Because we started asking about vegetarian stuff and vegan stuff. And yeah, well, this is vegan and that's vegan and this isn't and that isn't. And yeah, he made sure that all the stuff we ordered was vegan. Yeah. And he knew. And at the Lost Dog, everything that was vegan or vegan optional had a V next to it. Yep. Not even vegetarian. They didn't even have a vegetarian V. It said vegan V. Right. And so there were tons of stuff for us to eat there. Yeah, we actually had choices. I sat down, I was like, whoa. Compared to the Moosewood, which is a vegetarian restaurant, I sit down, I have one thing I can eat. Yeah. Well, maybe two, if I get a salad. Right. So I think it's kind of pathetic that the restaurant that is meant to be the standard bearer for what vegetarian cuisine is and all this other stuff
actually really kind of sucks for vegans.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that frustrating.
It is. It's just crazy, and they don't need to follow that. Like I said, because the restaurants in the cities, like the Nouveau restaurants in New York City and San Francisco, are all these great vegan restaurants that you can go to, and they're doing really well, and they're kind of bougie, and
Well, look at Vegetarian Haven in Toronto.
Yeah, right.
It not really called a vegan restaurant, and they are almost 100% vegan. Why they still have cream for their coffee, I will never. I don't know.
I know. All their desserts are vegan.
Everything else is vegan there, though.
Yeah.
And the food's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder though if I'm really happy with the state of the the vegan and vegetarian options in a lot of the places in Ithaca. At least people are knowledgeable about what's there.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And they didn't seem pissed off.
No, they seemed really accommodating and helpful.
Yeah, and I felt so nice because I didn't feel like a freak.
Not a single person rolled their eyes at us.
No, I couldn't believe it.
Not for that, anyway.
No.
Yeah.
Although the waiter at the Moosewood seemed a little pissed off, but
he did seem a little annoyed. Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. The other restaurants, they seem pretty cool.
Yeah,
and
they were totally cool with it.
Yeah.
And the one in the last dog even said, "Oh, by the way, we have vegan desserts if you're interested."
Yeah, that's true.
She was like totally cool about it.
She was cool, and they also had vegan coffee drinks. So it's nice to go somewhere like that where you aren't looked at like a total weirdo and total freak.
Yeah, because here we don't. I mean, for all of you out there, you might be like, "Why are you so excited?" Because we never ever go out to eat.
We're
here.
pathetic. Well, we can't go anywhere out to eat here.
There's the Indian place shut down. I think we've talked about this before, but there are Chinese buffets that have options for us, but they make you feel like shit afterwards because they're so loaded with fat.
It's pretty greasy.
So there's that, or there's like one thing we can eat like at one or two restaurants around here, but they're really bad.
Well, the thing is, like, why go to a restaurant around here? Then it's going to be worse than what I can make at home.
I know.
Why
waste the calories?
And why waste the money? I mean, it's just not good. And sometimes it is nice to go out to eat, but I don't know. I don't want to. It just seems like a waste to me.
Yeah, completely.
So when we go out somewhere nice like that, when we go out somewhere where there are options, we're very excited.
Yes.
We're like, it's cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's one good thing about it is that we save money.
Yeah, we never go out to eat.
We never go out to eat, so
we save a lot of money,
and probably good for calories too, that kind of thing.
That's true. You go out to eat, and I go out to eat, and I tend to splurge a little more in terms of what I eat.
Exactly.
I tend to eat things I wouldn't normally eat and things like that. So I eat fried food sometimes. Like we had French fries the other day, and I try not to eat a lot of French fries because I got to keep the lbs off. Keep my girlish figure.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm 33 years old, right? So I'm getting to that point where I got to be careful about what I eat, because otherwise you start putting on that middle-aged gut. You start putting on that spare tire. And I would like for my spare tire to be like one of those really skinny road bike tires rather than like a tire for a tractor.
This is true.
So, yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yep.
But yeah, so
we're back.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was nice to get away for a couple of days. We got some tattoo work done, things like that.
Yeah, they're in the peeling itchy stage right now.
Yeah, they are. They are. I began the outline for a whole sleeve on my right arm. And I'm just wondering, are people going to freak when I do this? I don't really know. So
probably.
They'll get over it.
Yep.
Fuck them.
Yep.
So, yep. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So, I don't know. It would be funny. Maybe we should go to we have a local bar a block away from our house, actually.
Yeah, they do karaoke on Friday nights.
They do. We haven't gone yet. We should go.
People tell me that
it's fun.
That they take it very seriously.
Yeah.
That it's like people get really into it and they clearly like practice for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be a lot of fun.
It's funny. But I was thinking, like, I don't know, it's a typical small town bar. And it got taken over by new management a couple years ago. So it's actually really clean, really nice.
It's a nice bar.
Inside, it's got a gorgeous view over the river across the street from our house.
It's on the bridge. Like there's a bridge that we live on Riverside Drive, and there's a river, of course, right there, right in front of our house, essentially.
Yeah.
Right across the street from our house. There's our house, the street, a little lot with a house on it, and then the river. So the river's like right there. And if you go down the street and just around the corner, there's a bridge that goes across the river, and the river's pretty big. And the bar is on a small island in the middle of the river.
Yeah. So, yeah. And it was funny, though, when we when we were first looking at our house to buy the house, we told the realtor we had stopped by and we looked around the town and we went in the bar and had a drink. She's like, "You went in there?" like
we were gonna die.
Yeah. Like, really? Because apparently it used to be kind of a dive.
It used to be a really tough bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, "Wow, they have a cabin down." The realtor and her husband have a cabin near here, so they're like, "We never go in there." And then we told our neighbors that we went in there. Like, "You went in there?" Like, they couldn't believe it either. I don't
The
know.
bartender, though, the guy who owns it's really cool, and his wife are really nice people.
Oh, yeah, they have a baby. They bring the baby to the bar.
That's what you should do with babies.
Exactly. So it's a really cool place, and we go in, hang out, and there's the typical locals and the regulars and everything. So it's a lot of fun.
It's a good bar, and I like going there a lot. The only thing I don't like about the bar is that there are big signs up that say foul language is not acceptable.
Yeah, and they actually take it seriously too, which kind of sucks.
They don't take it that seriously.
True, but I've heard people get yelled at if they get kind of rowdy. So
yeah, if you get really loud and rowdy and start screaming "fuck" or something, I'm sure they would throw you out. But
yeah,
I've been in there and talking to the bartender and said things like "fucking shit" and "ass," and
he doesn't care.
He doesn't say anything to me, and I forget that foul language is unacceptable.
It's probably more like drunk foul language is not acceptable.
It's probably more like that. Yeah.
But anyway, you should go in there with your tattoos and see what the reactions you get there.
I don't
They'll
get
probably be like, "Yeah, tattoos."
Around here, tattoos don't really get much reaction
Yeah.
from the people that live nearby because a lot of people have tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there'd be a huge reaction
Probably
anywhere
not.
around here. I'm just wondering about work.
Yeah,
I don't care though.
me either.
So, and it's nice working in a place where there's no explicit dress code. So I can do whatever I want.
This is true.
And if they don't like it, well, they can fire me. I hope they don't. I need my job.
Yeah, really.
Until this podcasting thing gets big.
Yeah, right.
No, so we'll see what happens. But the bar across the bridge is a lot of fun.
It is.
I want to go in there and karaoke night one night. Maybe I'll take a recorder and record some of it.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yep. Country karaoke, nothing better than that. It's like the time we went to your high school reunion.
Yeah.
That was the worst ever.
It was. I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize, but it was pretty bad.
It was.
But you looked really hot.
Hey, thanks.
You dressed up really, you were like swinging.
Thanks.
I remember. You wore like the skirt. You wanted to make everybody like all...
Yeah. Well, because I was, I'm a nerd, so...
Yep. People did look surprised when you walked in dressed like that. Yeah. But you look pretty hot. Anyway, yeah. The country karaoke is like about the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
It's really horrible.
It is. But I bet you they got a lot of classic rock karaoke too going on.
Yeah, I think they do. We can hear it sometimes. I think I hear I hear more of a classic rock like kind of bass or beat than I do of a
Led Zeppelin kind of thing going on.
Yep. What else are we going to talk about? I forget.
Oh, the locals around here are really funny.
They are. They're really strange.
They are. But they're real friendly.
Extremely friendly.
I mean, people, when we first moved in, were so nice to us.
Yeah. I mean, we lived in rural Pennsylvania for a while, and I don't mean to offend anyone who's from rural Pennsylvania who's listening, but I got to tell you, the local folks there in rural Pennsylvania scared me.
Me too.
They were kind of like...
very scary.
Kind of mean looking, and they weren't real nice.
Mm-mm.
And they were a little... I don't know. They made me feel a little... not sure.
Yeah. So... I mean, like, a lot of people up here have guns, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not, like, scared.
No.
When I walk around. But, like, we used to ride our bikes around central Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
And we would ride past, these houses. And one time we rode past this house, and there was a guy sitting on a porch with a shotgun on his lap. And I'm like, let's ride a little faster. Definitely
make it a harder
motivation
target.
because I don't want to be target practice because you never know.
It was weird too. It was the middle of the summer, and the guy just sat there with a shotgun on his lap, and I was like, "That's a little weird."
That is a little weird.
And there was this big encampment there that was a white supremacist encampment. We used to ride by every so often too. So there were a lot of white supremacists and like kind of scary folks in rural Pennsylvania, and the folks up here aren't scary in that way.
No,
they're really nice. And
I mean, the thing around here is like if you see someone else from around town, you got to wave.
Everybody waves.
Doesn't matter
if
you know them or not. If you see someone in the car, you got to wave.
Yeah, or on the street.
Or on the street.
You're in the car and you see someone on the street, you wave.
Yep.
So and you do that. I mean, that's just what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes town a little nice. But when I first came here up in this area, it weirded me out because I grew up in Philly, and I'm used. People in Philly aren't nice. I mean, let's just be realistic, right? People in Philly are rude, right? And if people are nice to me in Philly, I'm like, what do you want? Like, what? What are you after? Like, do you want money from me? What? Are you going to hold me up? Like, what are you doing? I don't trust when people are nice to me, until we moved here. And that was a good thing because, it's like a defense mechanism, right? You don't trust when people are nice to you. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strange. And we moved up here and, we go to the grocery store or go around town and people were like talking to us and being nice to us. And it was weirded me out for a little while because I didn't know what the hell was going on. And I had to like let down my guard a little bit in order to talk to folks because it took a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But people up here are real nice.
They are. They'll sit. The problem is you can't go anywhere and expect things to be quick.
Oh God, no.
Because they'll sit there and if you start talking to them, they'll tell you 10,000 stories.
Oh, I know. I know.
Which is kind of funny, but at the same time, you're like, all right, let's get moving now.
Yep, we got to move along here, and they talk slow sometimes.
Sometimes.
And directions up here, I swear, people when they give you directions up here, it's always like, now you go out the road and you see this little funny rock on the side of the road and a three-legged cow, and where you see a three-legged cow, you don't turn right, but you keep going straight, and instead of turning right, you kind of take a little bit of a right, and then, you look for the tree that has one limb missing on the right, and then you keep going a little further, and then there's a little split in the road, and then you look for the, they give you all these weird landmarks,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a hard time with directions up here.
Yeah. Or it's funny the way they call the roads.
Yeah.
Like, we live on Riverside Drive, and then there's across the street is Wildwood Road, but it's not Wildwood Road up here. It's the Wildwood Road.
Yeah. But we don't live on the Riverside Drive.
No, I don't know. It's only the roads that get named that way.
It is. That's true. Anything is blank road, it would be the blank road.
Yes.
So there's the Canton Potsdam Road.
Mm-hmm.
Not Canton Potsdam Road. If you say Canton Potsdam Road, people look like you're crazy.
Yeah.
You gotta say the Canton Potsdam Road. Whatever.
Okay, whatever.
So I don't know, the other day we were out walking the dogs, and to get to the point here, right?
Right.
We were out walking the dogs, and we saw these guys cutting down a tree in the cemetery near our house. Now, the cemetery nearby has what I think is the worst name for a cemetery ever.
It does.
Check this out. It's called the Pleasant Mound. Does that not sound euphemistic? I mean, if that does not sound sexually euphemistic, what I don't know what does. Would you want to be buried in the Pleasant Mound?
Probably not.
Maybe. I mean, if it's a euphemism for something,
Yeah,
maybe you would
right.
really like to be buried in the Pleasant Mound, or bury yourself in some Pleasant Mound. Anyway, we were walking by the Pleasant Mound Cemetery, and we saw these two older guys cutting down a tree, and we have a tree on our front lawn that has toadstools growing on it, and it's really tall, and it needs to be taken down. And I've been hesitating to do it because I think it's going to cost, if we get a real tree service in here, it's going to cost $300 to $500, and I'm positive it's going to cost at least that much. And who the hell wants to spend $300 to $500 taking down a tree? You know?
Really.
And the tree is like,
It's dying.
it's dead pretty
Yeah.
much. It's pretty much dead. It has no hope of being,
Big branches keep falling off of it. So
And we've had a lot of windstorms, and I keep waiting for it to come crashing through our house one day. So I'm glad it hasn't. And I saw these guys, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to go talk to them and see if they can come around our house and cut this tree down. Because they don't look like they're hugely professional. They don't have one of those trucks with a chipper on it.
no.
There's two guys with a pickup truck, and that's it. So we walk over, I start talking to them. They of course really like mole. They're totally into mole.
Oh yeah.
They're really like digging mole. And so I said to them, I need you guys to come over and see about my tree. Yeah, where you live over there? And I said, I live over on Riverside Drive. Oh, where do you live over there on Riverside Drive? Yeah, we're done cut down a couple trees over there on Riverside, and we know cut down a tree for Mr. Reed, and cut down a tree for that person and this person. And he spends 15 minutes telling me all the people in the entire town that he's cut trees down for. And I'm like, I don't really care. Like, you're going to come to my house and cut the tree down. Great. Whenever you do anything up here, though, everybody spends 15 or 20 minutes telling you everybody they've ever worked for up here. And it's like, I guess it's a way of them saying, look, everybody else trusts me.
Right.
Mr. Reed and Mr. Ames, all the other people, they all trust me. So I'm a local boy. I'm good and all this other stuff. So they're telling me all the people they've cut trees down for. And I said, okay, great. Well, just come around and see me. So they stopped by a little later, These two, they're pretty old guys,
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot to tell you, while they were talking to me, the one guy's like literally hawking
Hawking loogies.
lung butter.
Ew, I know, it's so disgusting. I'm like, oh god.
And he's
Spitting.
spitting these little bits of loogie out, and then he's coughing. And
Yeah,
and so
that's
he's-
pleasant.
he's petting the dog, and he's talking to the dog. He goes,
I'm
"Hey,
like thinking, like, we're gonna have to like rub the dog with Lysol. He's
don't
like-
be mean.
No, well, he said, hey, he was talking to the dog. He's like, hey, have you cut this cold yet? And I'm like, oh, thanks.
So yeah, he was pretty funny though. And So yeah, they come around the house later on. These two guys pull up in this black pickup truck. It looks pretty beat up. And he gets out and he starts talking to me about the house. And he starts talking to me he used to live here. And he starts talking to me about the area. And, you know, this is before you even look at the tree. We're going through all this stuff. So he says, what's your name? I said, my name's Bob. I figure out, let's just keep it easy. My name's Bob. What's your last name, though? My last name is Torres. Torres. He said, what is that again? I said, Torres. 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 And he's thinking to himself. And I looked at the guy and said, Torres? Yeah, Torres. And, man, that ain't a name from around here, is it? I'm like, no,
Nope.
It sure ain't a name from around here. He's like, so where are you from? I said, well, I grew up in Pennsylvania. Because, check this out. Where we live, there's a town about an hour away called Philadelphia. So if you say, I was born in Philadelphia, they go, oh, local boy. No,
No.
not that Philadelphia. And this Philadelphia has like 20 people in it,
Yeah,
right?
it's tiny.
It's really tiny. So I have to say, I'm from Pennsylvania. Oh, you're from Pennsylvania? Okay, so what you doing up here? That's the next question. Because, you know, there isn't a huge influx. There's not a huge influx of people up here coming in from outside. So I say, I always dread saying this. I work over at the university in Canton. And then they usually get this look on their face like,
You're one of those.
Because people up here don't, for a lot of reasons, don't like the university for a lot of historic reasons. I mean, the university is full of rich kids who drive Audis and Beamers. Not full of, but there are a significant number of wealthy children there who drive cars better than what any of us can drive on the faculty, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So local people resent that because they drive even worse cars than people on the faculty drive. So, like, you know, the faculty are driving Hondas and VWs, right? In that range, generally, Toyotas and
Subarus,
hybrids,
yep. Mm-hmm.
Subarus, right? In that range, and the students are driving, you know, the Minis and the Beamers and the Audis and the Hummers, and the local folks are generally driving your kind of older pickups and American cars like that. So, I think that people see that around town and they get pissed off at that because these kids have money, you know, and they make assumptions about the kids who go to St. Lawrence that, you know, well, they're all rich kids and they don't know anything, and that's not true either. Because a lot of them are, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a lot of the rich kids don't behave very well around town. They're kind of rude to the locals. And so I always hesitate to say that I work at the university. But, you know, generally speaking, if I'm nice to folks, it works out all right. So, you know, they had to let me know I wasn't from around here. But they're happy to cut down the tree for $150.
Yep.
And
Cash.
Cash, that's right. 150 cash. Well, 100 if they were going to leave the logs here. And I almost thought about it, but I didn't want to spend a couple hours. This is a big tree, you know, splitting logs and carrying them into the woods. What the hell?
I know.
My Boy Scout days are long over.
Yeah, we don't have a fireplace or anything to burn them, so.
So 100 cut down and left here, 150 taken away. So I said, all right. I said, when are you guys going to come? They said, we'll come on Wednesday. I said, well, when do you think you're going to come? Now, I don't know. We'll come on Wednesday. So, all right, well, I may not be here on Wednesday, depending on when you come. Well, we'll come on Wednesday. I said, okay, but listen, if you want me to pay you, you better come after 3 o'clock, because that's when I'm going to be here on Wednesday. He goes, well, I don't think we're going to come around 3 o'clock. We'll just come, and we'll be there whenever we're there. So I said, all right, well, I want to be able to pay you. He's like, oh, we'll track you down. We'll get your money from you. And, you know, it was really funny. They said, if we don't get your money from you, we'll cut down every tree on your property.
So, that's a little scary, yeah.
So it was pretty funny. But I said to them, well, you know, I can give you guys a check. And he goes, well, you give me a check, I might have to tell my uncle about it. I said, what do you mean? He goes, my uncle. I don't have to tell my uncle. I don't want to tell my Uncle Sam about the check. You get what I'm saying? So, so I said, all right, I'll have 115 cash for you when you come. And he said, that's great, because I don't have to tell my uncle. So on Wednesday at some point, I'm going to have 150 cash here for him, and it's cool. I mean, you know, they're going to come, cut down the tree, and we'll have it out of the way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm on Twin Peaks, though. You know? Like I keep waiting for the log lady to walk up or something.
Yeah, really. I don't know. But the people around here are generally pretty cool. They're just kind of funny.
Yeah. Is this tremendously boring? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Well, if it is, let us know, and we'll improve the shows. I don't know. I just figure most of you don't live in like bumfuck America like we do.
This is true.
You know, middle of nowhere, rural America like we do, and it might be kind of fun for you to know what goes on in rural America.
Oh, hey, Garrison Keillor can make an entire radio show out of it. Why can't we?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we are on Lake Wobegon.
Yeah.
Some of the things that go on around here.
Definitely.
But I like where we live, though, despite the fact it's a little strange. And we
Yeah.
talked about that in the last one, though, so we don't have to go there again.
No, but it's cool. I mean, we've got a block away. We've got a 3-mile trail through the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to take the dog, and I guess in the future of the dogs there.
It's a 4-mile trail, by the way.
Ah, okay. One way. So, yeah, it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just a lot of nature around. And it's just nice to be able to go take advantage of it when you
It
want.
is. And we're not real far from a lot of things. We're like about 4 hours from Toronto. We talked about this in the last one. That's cool.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it then.
Yeah. So, what else?
I don't
Do we have some other things we want to talk about?
know. Not that I can remember.
Oh, man, really?
Yeah.
We're running out of stuff already?
Oh, no.
How much do we have?
I don't know. 30 minutes.
That's not that much.
What are you going to talk about?
I don't know. How about we do this?
Huh.
We tell people that if you're a subscriber and there's something you want us to talk about, we want to hear from you about it.
Okay.
Something that we maybe can't talk about in the regular podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but we would like to hear from you about things you want to hear in the private podcast. What do you want to know? What do you want to hear? What do you want us to talk about? And we will be sure to talk about it.
Indeed.
You know, if it's within reason, of course.
Yes, of course.
It doesn't have to be about veganism necessarily.
No, true.
So, I know what I could talk about very briefly.
What?
I'm reading this great book. It's called The Sociopath Next Door.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to write a blog entry about it, I think, over at veganfreaks.org. But the book basically says that 4% of people are in America and in North America are sociopaths, which means that they essentially act without regard. No, they have no sense of. They don't really care about the consequences of their actions, right? They have no conscience, really. And I think that's really kind of scary in a way.
It's extremely scary.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can't even make them feel guilty.
No, they don't feel guilt. They don't feel love. They don't feel really empathy or sympathy or anything. They just are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really, really messed up. You know?
Well, yeah, it's scary.
It is scary. But in another way, the book is really interesting because the book talks about how it's really important to question authority. Because what happens, this woman argues, who wrote the book, her name is Martha Stout, she says that sociopaths really, since they don't feel love or any of that other stuff, they seek their pleasures elsewhere, and their pleasures come out of controlling. One of the things that they do is control situations and control people and gain a rush out of that control. So one of the things that they'll do is often strive for positions of power so they can control. And so one of the things that the author argues is a way to protect yourself from psychopaths or sociopaths is to constantly be thinking about authority and challenging authority and always questioning authority. I like that idea a lot because it reminds you that questioning authority is really important.
Yeah, and that's how most vegans got to where they are. If you're vegan especially for animal rights reasons, is that you had to question the status quo. You had to be able to figure out that, I'm not going to go along with this just because it is the way it is. I'm going to go against this, and I have to do this because it's important to me, because I know what goes on and I can't participate in it.
It's true.
And I think there's a certain amount of empathy and sympathy that you have to be able to feel towards the animals as well. I mean, to think about what they go through.
That's right.
I think that's an important step. I mean, whether it's logical or whether it's emotional, doesn't matter. You have to think about what the animals go through in slaughter, in factory farming, to really be able to question it. So,
well, her other point, though, was that basically about 60% of people will follow orders. Like, they'll just go along with whatever the societal moment is and deal with it. And 60-some%. About 30% will question the conventional wisdom of society if it violates what they see as ethical or moral or correct or just. So there are 30% of people who, roughly around 30, who will always use their ethics as a guide to what's going on rather than following the herd. And then there's that remaining 4% that just don't care either way, but they can pretend. So that's one of the cool things that comes out of this is that the establishment of like a real consciousness and a real morality, she argues, is one of those things that has driven forward human society. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah, I wonder if it's possible then to have 30% of people that could be vegetarian.
I wonder that. Could we get 30% of people to go vegan?
I don't know. Right now it's only one
Yeah,
in the United States.
Well,
anyway.
yeah. So, all her figures are for North America. So roughly, or
Right.
Western societies.
Right.
One of the interesting things that she argues, though, is that non-Western societies have much lower rates of sociopaths than do Western societies. And she links that really to the ways in which Western society is extremely individualized. We're meant to see each other as individuals and to pursue our individual interests, whereas some in other cultures there tends to be more of a familial unit as the unit of kind of personal understanding or the community.
Right.
She thinks that's one of the reasons that we have more of it here than there. She also says it's a combination, of course, of genetic and environmental factors.
Of course.
But I highly recommend the book. It's a lot of fun to read. It's a very quick read. I mean, I think I'm almost done. I'm on the last chapter, and I would say it's taken me 2.5 hours so far to read that much.
Cool.
So it's a very quick read. I also have here on my desk American Theocracy by Kevin Phillips, and I have this policy where I don't buy books by Republicans because I don't like to put money in their pocket. But no offense to any Republicans out there, you're not bad by nature. You're bad by party. No, I mean you're not bad by nature. You're bad by association in a sense, right? Anyway, Kevin Phillips, he is a Republican.
Mm-hmm. He admits he voted for George Bush.
Does he admit that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't remember if he admitted
I think he
that.
did in the interview we heard with him.
Anyway, this book is really good because what it looks at is the book's called American Theocracy: The Peril and Politics of Radical Religion, Oil, and Borrowed Money in the 21st Century, and it basically looks at the ways in which the party itself has been corrupted by evangelicals. So I think that's going to be an interesting read. One of the things I was talking about with the guy who was giving me my tattoo last week was the whole like Armageddon stuff that people are thinking about, and I never really put it in perspective, but man, it's really interesting. Something like 50%, is that right, of people believe that the end times are here in America?
I think it was 40.
40.
Mm-hmm.
40% of people believe the end times are here. That's kind of scary. Like 40% of people think the world's going to end during their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be doing anything like to care about the world? No, you don't give a shit. It's crazy.
I know. It's kind of scary.
Oh, when we were in the hotel too, I watched while Jenna was in the bathroom, or you were in the shower. I was watching this show. One of those. See, when Jenna's here, I'm not allowed to watch Fox News, any of the Christian stations. Like we even have them turned off. Right? We have a TiVo, and on the TiVo we have all of those channels deleted. Like you can't even get to them, right? Because the Vulgar Vegan, a friend of mine, came over and he tried to find Fox News on our cable and he couldn't find it. It was really funny. So we have those channels deleted, but because they really frustrate you, right?
Yeah, they make me incredibly angry. Like I could feel my blood pressure rising, and it makes me want to throw stuff at the TV. So in order to save the TV and my blood pressure, my health, we need to turn those off because I can't stand it.
Yeah, I can watch you turn purple when we watch them.
Oh yeah.
But while you were in the shower at the hotel, I was watching this one where this guy claims that he was a Satanist to the core. He said he was a Satanist and that he had demons in him. Right? It was this really well-produced segment. It was on like TBN or I don't know, one of these Christian channels,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he was talking about how he had demons in him and he could feel the demons in him. And someone saw him and said, "You have demons in you." And it's on TV and they're taking it very seriously. And I'm laughing at these people because I'm like, demons? Like you have demons in you? What are you thinking? Like you think you really have demons in you? And it kind of hit me in that moment that there are all these people out there watching this who are agreeing with it, who are like into it, or it wouldn't be on.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
And most of us, I think, would think, see, okay, you're telling you have demons, and you probably have some sort of psychological
Issue?
issue. Something's out of whack in your head. Maybe you should go see professional help.
I mean, I really feel like I should be putting in some Satan voice here,
Right.
I should apologize for not having any. Oh my God. It's a private podcast and there's no Satan voice?
No.
I can't. With the current hookup, it's really hard to plug in the effects mixer.
So, yeah, whatever. So, yeah.
Anyway, he was eventually rescued by a bunch of people from church who helped him see his demons and get rid of them and all that. But it just blows my mind to think that there are people out there who really believe that the end times are near.
I know, it's kind of scary.
And who are believe they're possessed by demons. So, I don't know. I mean, it makes you wonder, like, no wonder we're sliding behind every other industrialized country on the face of the earth,
Yeah.
No wonder.
I know.
Because people believe in voodoo and magic and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, whatever.
It is frustrating, yeah. But, I was watching TV while you were in the shower.
Yeah.
And I was watching this so cute. I was watching Animal Planet.
Of course.
Now, we haven't had TV in a while. We just got it back.
Yeah, we just got cable again.
So I, was catching up on some TV, and they had this one show on where apparently this woman does yoga for dogs. Yoga with dogs.
I saw that.
In New York City. It was kind of funny. I mean, in a way, because she figured this out by just taking her dog everywhere, and the dog was adorable.
That's cute.
And apparently she brought it along to yoga class once, and they were doing these poses, and the dog kept putting her paws on her fans, and they were doing these other poses where they were like putting their legs up against the wall, and the dog put their legs up against the wall, mimicking the humans.
No
and everybody
way.
started cracking up. It was the cutest thing. So now she does these classes where people can bring their
Doggy
dogs
yoga.
to do yoga. Yeah. It's amazing to me. On one level, like, dogs and cats can be treated so well by some people, and they're just like, there was this other woman who was telling a story about how her dog got paralyzed, and she went through all this trauma and, wondering if the dog was going to make it, and spent thousands and thousands of dollars getting this dog fixed up. So we have that on one hand, we're going along, and then we, a couple days later, we were at the shelter with watching the other end of it all, the dogs that have been abused or lost or dropped off, just because the people didn't want to take care of them. They didn't have anything to do with these animals.
It's really sad.
And it's really amazing how this disparity can occur in the same country. I mean, we have these, people treating dogs like royalty on one hand and then like total shit on another hand. It's just amazing to me.
Well, I mean, there's also that disparity going on in the same person, too. I mean, there's the people who are treating their dogs like royalty while they're eating chicken or a steak, and it's like you don't see the double oppression going on here,
I know. I mean, the woman that worked at the shelter obviously really loved her animals, and she made sure, like you could tell because there was things she was saying to us, that she wanted them to find a good home, and that she really cared about them, and she kept them as long as she can. It was almost a no-kill shelter because she tried to keep them as long as possible.
Well, she did keep them as long as they weren't violent or anything like that. She said if they became violent, she would put them down, which I think, I'm not totally cool with that. But
but she didn't put them down just because they were there for a long time.
Exactly. Like the dog that we have now, she is the sweetest, nicest dog ever. I mean, she's really cool. She's a really nice dog. And she was in the shelter for a year.
Yeah. No
one adopted her for a year. And I don't get it.
I don't either.
She's not, she's a mutt.
Yeah, she's kind of funny looking.
She's a little funny looking.
A little funny.
But she's really cute. And she's a really nice dog. She's really sweet, really calm. She's housebroken.
Yeah.
I don't really understand why someone would give her up and what happened. And someone did give her up, too.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what the story is, but I mean, it's sad that, the animal that the dog we've adopted, she's really cool.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many other millions more are out there like that.
I know.
I wonder how many millions more like that every year are put to sleep because someone can't take them.
Quite a few.
Well, it's sad.
It is sad. It's depressing.
It's just another symptom of our wastefulness when it comes to animals.
Mm-hmm.
And our seeming ability to do whatever the hell we want.
Yep.
Regardless of the consequences.
People don't take the responsibility. They don't get them spayed and neutered. And they breed dogs, and this is what happens. So.
Indeed.
Well. Yep.
On that happy note, we should probably end this thing.
Yeah, we should.
So let us know what you want to hear on these private podcasts, these subscriber-only podcasts.
Yeah. Be in touch with us.
Yeah. Drop us a line at podcast@veganfreak.com and, let us know what you're up for hearing. We will talk about just about anything you would like. So if you have a particular request, let us know, or you can email us and we could talk about your email if you want.
Yeah, sure.
So
Whatever
we would
you
love
want.
to do that. But we want to make these things good for you. So let us know what it is you like and don't like, and we can try to make them give you a little more bang for your buck, right? Because you're paying $4 a month for this, so we should at least try to make it decent.
Indeed.
And thank you again for your support. It means a lot to us. We really appreciate it, and we're very grateful for it. It really helps.
Yes, so thank you so much, and thank you for listening to this.
That's right. And don't forget to catch podcast number 32.
Yep, should be out in a couple of days.
Will be coming out probably Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening in, and we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah, bye.
All right, bye.
The reason for this is that, well, a lot of families go there, and there might be some people that, aren't vegetarian, but then they want to have something to eat. I'm like, well, would it kill them to eat a meal without meat for one meal?
Everybody can eat a vegetarian meal here and there.
Yeah.
Big deal.
They're trying to cater to the meat eaters that are going to go there, but why? It's ridiculous. I don't know.
It is ridiculous. And you know what? The rest of the goddamn world caters to the meat eaters.
Exactly.
Every other restaurant everywhere else caters to meat eaters. And why not have a restaurant that is truly vegan or
Oh,
vegetarian?
yeah, there's all kinds of steakhouses and barbecue places in Ithaca too. If they really want to
Oh,
meet, they can go to one of those.
a buttload of them.
Yes.
And there's one even that's called John Thomas.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Yeah. Carol Adams even uses
Their
their
ad,
ads in
yeah.
her books because they're that bad.
Yeah, I think they have an ad with a little knife on it, like a steak knife. It says "Scaring Vegetarians since 1980, whatever."
Yeah.
Oh, please. We're not afraid of you. We feel bad for you. We feel bad for you being caught in this like ridiculous meat eating way that you are going. So
Mhm.
I don't know. There's all that, and it's really frustrating because, like Jenna said, it's this 1970s version of what vegetarian is. I think.
Mhm.
And I think it all goes back to this like Francis Moore Lapay version of like, Diet for a Small Planet kind of stuff where you're supposed to combine proteins and think about, what you eat and plan it all out. And I think we have Francis Moore Lapay to thank for all this, do you get enough protein bullshit? Because I think she helped contribute to that myth with her book, Diet for a Small Planet.
Yeah, the whole combining protein stuff and
Right.
all that. Yeah.
The liberal left place.
Mhm.
And there's a good bit of that. But I think every time I go back, it seems less and less radical than before.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah, but in a way, it's also fun to go back because where we are, it's not necessarily conservative, but people are pretty middle of the road.
oh yeah, people are very
there are a
middle
lot
of
of
the road.
Democrats, but they're because of the union. I think unions.
That's
kind of
true.
Jobs.
We live in a Democratic county,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of
But there are
Republicans.
a lot of Republicans around us, and you don't see too much overt political things.
No, you really
around.
don't.
But you go there, and there's anti-Bush graffiti,
Yeah, fuck Bush
and anti-Bush
everywhere,
signs, and
yeah.
it's really nice to see.
Yeah, I saw this best graffiti when we were there. It said graffiti, oh how subversive.
Yeah.
It was really funny. So we were in Ithaca recently having a good time. There aren't. I guess what I really wanted to talk about was this issue of vegetarian and vegan restaurants, and Ithaca doesn't really have any explicitly vegan restaurants.
Yeah, which is strange because it has the whole feel of like a tiny, tiny Portland kind of place, or supposedly a cool liberal place, and there aren't even any vegetarian restaurants. Maybe one cafe, the ABC Cafe, which we haven't been to in years because the last time we were there was pretty bad.
Their food usually is pretty bad, and it's real hippie-ish too.
Yeah, and
which
it's
is-
very vegetarian oriented, not vegan.
Yeah, and but the Moosewood restaurant is there, which some of you may know about. They have that series of cookbooks and all of that.
Mhm.
And every time we're there, we go to the Moosewood usually for lunch because it's one of the places that we can get something to eat. But
Yeah, you could get something to eat there and it doesn't make you feel sick the rest of the day.
yeah, it's true. So we can go.
We won't talk
yeah.
about it too much here, but
No, but we've just been trying to make sure that the family stays relatively sane.
yeah.
It's been hard for our other dog Mole. Not hard at first. It was a little hard for him to adjust, but it's only been a couple days and they seem fine.
Yeah, they're
They-
getting along really well.
They get along really well. And our cat, on the other hand, it's hard to get him out of the basement, but
He came up today on his own, so that's a good sign.
yeah, it was a good sign.
So, wake up.
I don't know. I'm tired. So anyway, we just thought we would talk to you about a couple of things this time around that we aren't going to cover on a regular podcast.
Yeah. So we want to talk about a little bit about our trip to Ithaca.
Yep.
Ithaca's a cool town. I like it.
I do too. For a town of its size, it's okay. It frustrated me when I lived there, but I think that had more to do with the shitty apartments we lived in.
Yeah, the rental situation is absolutely horrid. The landlords are just so cruel.
Oh, I don't know.
They're just scumlords.
There are a lot of slumlords
Slumlords.
and scumbags.
Yeah.
There are a lot of them, but we had a couple good landlords.
That's true.
It was just one landlord we had that was a real shitbag.
Yeah.
He was a fucker.
Yeah. The bathroom ceiling caved in one day.
Yeah,
'cause
but
there's
with
a
water.
leak in the roof.
Yeah.
And he refused to fix it.
He refused. I had to call the city,
Yeah.
and I had to get the city to threaten him with action in order for him to come fix it. So it was absurd. And he fixed the roof, but he never fixed the hole in our bathroom ceiling, which is brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, Ithaca's a good place. It's got this reputation for being kind of a hip.
Hey, welcome to our second secret subscriber donator podcast.
Hey everybody, how you doing? So sorry for it to be having been so long since we've had one of these for you, but we promised them once a month, and we don't say when during the month.
This is true.
So
Well, we were getting used to our new equipment, and we had to get all that together before we could really do anything. So thanks to you, now we have equipment.
yeah, thanks to you
play
all. We really appreciate your support. I know I tell many of you that via email, but now that I have each of you here kind of individually, let me tell you that your support means a lot to us. It helps us do a lot with the show. It helps us get the equipment we need to do the show in a timely fashion. And you know, it really just makes doing the show a lot better for us. We spend a lot less time on the drudgery aspects of the show, and a lot more time on kind of the fun parts, the production, and trying to think about what we're going to do with the show. And I think for us, it was a make or break thing, and you helped us make it rather than break it.
Yeah, so we can't thank you enough. It's been incredible.
We do really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, if any of you have sent us email and we haven't gotten back to you yet, we will. We've just been really busy lately. It's been a crazy week here.
Yeah.
We were out of town for a couple days, and I began a huge tattoo. Jenna got a little tattoo, and it was nice to go out of town. But as soon as we came back, like all the shit that we left behind was still waiting for us. So we took off, but there was everything still waiting. And it was like, oh man, whatever. So anyway, yeah, and we adopted a dog from the shelter, and she's been cool. She's been really cool.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that in a regular podcast.
The Moosewood, and I don't know. I mean, the truth of the matter is that the Moosewood is an explicitly vegetarian restaurant. Like, they advertise themselves that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's less for us to eat at the Moosewood than there is at restaurants that aren't explicitly vegetarian.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that they're stuck in this 70s mold of what a vegetarian restaurant, they think a vegetarian restaurant has to be.
Absolutely.
And so they serve fish.
They do.
At every meal.
And they have fish at every meal, which is really baffling because fish does not grow on trees.
No.
In fact, that's one of in the index entries in our book. If you have our book, you should look under "fish is not a vegetable." I put that in as an index entry because it was annoying. But no, fish is not a vegetable, right? We all know this. Fish are animals.
Yeah.
So I'm always baffled by the fact that they have fish there, number one. Number two, they have, whenever you go in, they always have all these vegetarian entrees, but the entrees are usually cheese covered or have feta on them or have egg in them or some kind of crap like that. And they usually outnumber the vegan entree. There are usually 3 or 4 vegetarian things that have ovo-lacto things and then one kind of vegan-y thing or one thing that could be veganized.
Right.
And I think that's kind of pathetic for a restaurant that prides itself as a vegetarian restaurant.
It is ridiculous.
And I think serving fish is just beyond the pale. It's like, if you're a vegetarian restaurant, be a vegetarian restaurant. If you're a pescatarian restaurant, then
stop advertising yourself as a vegetarian restaurant.
Exactly. Like, why eat fish and then claim you're a vegetarian? It's ridiculous. And it helps.
Frustrating.
It is frustrating, and it helps to keep that idea that vegetarians eat fish going.
I know. And then what they claim supposedly